The wipers slapped back and forth on the windshield, barely keeping up with the deluge. Rain lashed against the car like 1,000 tiny fists, blurring the world outside into a smear of gray. "Man," I muttered, knuckles white on the steering wheel, "this storm came out of nowhere." Just an hour ago, the sky had been a clear canvas splashed with stars. Now it was like the heavens had opened up and decided to drown everything. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. Glancing down, I saw a message from Sarah. "Stuck at work. Traffic's a nightmare. Be home late." Great. Just what I needed on a night like this. The headlights cut through the downpour, revealing a desolate stretch of highway. It was the kind of road you only took if you were seriously lost, or, like me, desperate to get home. A shortcut, they'd called it. More like a shortcut to a nervous breakdown, I thought grimly. Another flash of lightning lit up the sky, momentarily illuminating the road ahead. A figure stood there, a solitary silhouette against the wall of rain. My heart hammered in my chest. A hitchhiker? In this weather? I slammed on the brakes, the car skidding precariously on the slick asphalt. The figure didn't move, just stood there, a dark, unmoving shape. Hesitantly, I rolled down the window a crack. Rain lashed against my face as I called out, "Need a lift?" The figure turned and a shiver ran down my spine. It was a woman, her face obscured by the rain and the darkness. But her eyes, those eyes, they glowed an unnatural yellow. Like a predator stalking its prey, a primal instinct to flee surged through me. I slammed the gas pedal, the tires squealing in protest, but it was too late. A long, clawed hand shot through the open window, its grip like iron. A scream tore from my throat as the creature hauled itself into the car, its wet fur sending a wave of revulsion through me. It let out a guttural snarl, the sound unlike anything I'd ever heard. Fear choked my voice, my mind racing for a way out. Then, I remembered the tire iron I kept under the passenger seat. With a desperate lunge, I grabbed it and swung it blindly. The metal connected with a sickening thud. The creature shrieked, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. It recoiled, momentarily stunned. I used the opportunity to floor it again, the car fishtailing as I fought to keep control. In the rearview mirror, I saw the creature scrambling after me, its yellow eyes burning through the darkness. I pushed the car to its limits, ignoring the screaming engine, the rain blurring the world into a watery mess. I had to get away. Finally, a glimmer of hope, the familiar glow of the town lights on the horizon. With a final burst of speed, I roared into town, the creature falling behind. I didn't stop until I was safely parked in front of Sarah's apartment, the engine sputtering its last breaths. I stumbled out of the car, my legs shaking. Rain continued to pelt down, but somehow it felt less menacing now. Sarah answered the door, her face etched with worry. "What happened? Are you okay?" I pulled her into a tight hug, the memory of the yellow eyes and the chilling scream still vivid in my mind. "I'm okay," I choked out, my voice trembling. But as I spoke, a flicker of movement in the rearview mirror sent a fresh wave of terror through me. "No," I whispered, my eyes wide. Growing up, rainy nights were always a mixed bag for me. On one hand, there was something cozy about the sound of rain tapping against the window, lulling me to sleep. But on the other hand, there was the memory that haunted me, the one I could never shake off. The night of the rainy drive that turned into a nightmare. I was 17 at the time, feeling invincible as most teenagers do. It was a Friday night, and my friends and I decided to go for a drive, just to get away from the monotony of small-town life. The rain had been pouring down all day, but we were young and reckless, thinking we could conquer anything. As we cruised down the dark, winding roads, the rain pounded against the windshield, making it hard to see. But we didn't care. We had the music blasting, laughter filling the car as we joked and sang along to our favorite tunes. Life felt good, almost perfect. But then, as if out of nowhere, disaster struck. The road ahead was slick with rain, and before I could react, the car started to hydroplane, spinning out of control. Time seemed to slow down as we careened off the road and into a ditch, the sound of metal crunching and glass shattering echoing in my ears. When the car finally came to a stop, we were all dazed and disoriented. I could feel the sting of blood running down my forehead, mixing with the rain that seeped through the shattered window. Panic gripped my chest as I tried to make sense of what had just happened, but there was no time to dwell on it. We needed help, and fast. With shaky hands, I reached for my phone, only to realize it was dead. The sinking feeling in my stomach grew as I looked around, realizing just how isolated we were. The rain showed no signs of letting up, pounding against the car with relentless fury. In the darkness outside, I could barely make out the outline of the trees, swaying ominously in the wind. Fear clawed at my insides as I realized just how vulnerable we were. Hours passed, each one feeling like an eternity. We tried to flag down passing cars, but no one stopped. It was as if we were invisible, trapped in our own personal hell. The cold seeped into my bones, making it hard to think straight. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I heard it. A low, guttural growl coming from the darkness outside. My blood ran cold as I realized we were not alone. Something was out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I huddled closer to my friends, praying for morning to come soon. But as the hours dragged on and the rain continued to fall, I knew that our nightmare was far from over. We were trapped in the storm, at the mercy of forces beyond our control. To this day, the memory of that rainy night drive still haunts me, a reminder of just how fragile life can be. And whenever I hear the sound of rain tapping against the window, I can't help but shudder, knowing that sometimes the storm is more than just a force of nature. It's a harbinger of true terror. Rain hammered the roof of Mark's beat-up pickup like 1,000 angry drummers. Wind howled like a banshee, whipping the trees along the deserted highway into a frenzy. He squinted through the rain-streaked windshield, the wipers struggling to keep up with the deluge. "Ugh, gotta love these surprise storms," he grumbled, knuckles white on the steering wheel. An hour ago, the sky had been a clear canvas sprinkled with stars. Now it was like the heavens had sprung a leak, determined to flood everything in sight. His phone buzzed in the cup holder. It was a text from his girlfriend, Chloe. "Stuck at the hospital with Mrs. Henderson, double shift, be home super late, sorry babe." Great. Just what a guy stuck in a monsoon needed, to be the only sane soul on the road. He glanced at the empty passenger seat, picturing Chloe's bright smile. He missed her already. The headlights speared through the downpour, revealing a desolate stretch of highway. It was the kind of road you only took if you were seriously lost. Or, like Mark, trying to shave an hour off his commute despite the weather. Shortcut? More like a shortcut to a nervous breakdown, he muttered, his voice barely audible over the howling wind. A flash of lightning momentarily illuminated the road ahead. A figure stood there, a solitary silhouette against the wall of rain. Mark slammed on the brakes, the truck skidding precariously before coming to a halt. Rain lashed against the windshield as he stared at the figure. A hitchhiker? In this weather? Hesitantly, he rolled down the window a crack. Rain slapped him in the face as he called out, "Need a lift?" The figure turned, and a shiver ran down Mark's spine. It was a woman, her face obscured by the rain and the darkness, but her eyes, those eyes, they were hollow, milky white, and seemed to stare right through him. A primal fear gripped him. No way was this a friendly face. He slammed the gas pedal, the tires squealing in protest, but it was too late. A skeletal hand, long and impossibly thin, shot through the open window. Its grip was like a vice, cold and inhuman. A scream tore from Mark's throat as the creature lunged into the passenger seat, its wet body sending a wave of revulsion through him. It let out a guttural rasp, a sound that sent chills down to his bone. Fear choked his voice, his mind racing for an escape. Then he remembered the crowbar he kept under the seat for emergencies. With a desperate lunge, he grabbed it and swung it blindly. The metal connected with a sickening thud. The creature shrieked, a sound that curdled his blood. It recoiled, momentarily stunned. He slammed on the gas again, the engine roaring in protest as he fought to control the fishtailing truck. In the rearview mirror, he saw the creature scrambling after him, its white eyes burning through the darkness. He pushed the truck to its limits, ignoring the screaming engine and the rain blurring the world into a watery mess. He had to get away. Finally, a beacon of hope, the familiar glow of the town lights on the horizon. With a final burst of speed, he roared into town, the creature falling behind. He didn't stop until he was safely parked in front of Chloe's apartment, the engine sputtering its last breaths. He stumbled out of the truck, his legs shaking. Rain continued to pelt down, but somehow it felt less menacing now. Chloe answered the door, her face etched with worry. "Mark, what happened? Are you okay?" He pulled her into a tight hug, the memory of the white eyes and the chilling rasp still vivid in his mind. "I'm okay," he rasped, his voice trembling. But as he spoke, a flicker of movement in the rearview mirror sent a fresh wave of terror through him. "No," he whispered, his eyes wide. "We're not." The creature stood there at the edge of the parking lot, a dark figure under the streetlights, its white eyes fixated on them. The rain continued to fall, but a new kind of storm had begun, a storm of fear that would forever haunt his every late-night drive, a chilling reminder of the night he encountered something inhuman on a lonely stretch of road.